want you to sit on a chair, but I can't move that easily. So we're gonna somehow have access to your feet. So for most of you, that'll be kind of like a cross-legged position. And if I'm nearing you, it'll be the right foot first. The left leg can be bent, it can be straight. You can use a prop, whatever you want. And at first, let's just dust off the foot because you've probably been walking around barefoot for a couple minutes. Yeah. And then this next request is a strange one. So see if you can hold the 4 toes separately and the pinky toe is on its own. And then we'll draw some little circles with the pinky toe. They won't circle that well. The bigger, like as we get to the longer toes, it'll be easier. And then go the other direction. Tiny little circles, yeah. And then let's do the 4th toe. Yeah, who knew we'd be playing with our feet today, right? And then the 3rd toe. This yoga stuff's so weird. Go both directions.
What happened to that?
Oh, it has bugs, and it's getting debugged, but it has to be outside in the process, so it doesn't infect the other plants. Yeah, go to the 2nd toe if you didn't already. Yeah, but she knows how to care for them, so I don't. I wouldn't know what to do.
It would just die.
The
bugs would just get
And then last but not least is our big toe, sometimes known as the great toe. In other languages, they call it that. Yeah, go the other way. Okay. And now this one, if that wasn't weird, this one will be. Spread out the toes and use your left hand to shake hands with your foot.
This is not weird.
This is not weird for you.
This is perfectly normal. Thanks for being here.
Part of your day, yeah. Yeah, if you go from the underside, that works way better. Yeah, and if you start from the pinky side too, that usually works better. And then if you're able to, wedge down into the webbing of the fingers and the toes. If that doesn't work, don't worry about it. Yeah, and then use your hand to just kind of squash and release. You're good, yeah. You're on the other side, but it's okay, as long as we get them all.
Just stay on the same side.
Just stay, yeah, just do the whole thing on side one. And then relax your hand, and now do this with the toes, so the toes are squeezing the fingers. And sometimes that hurts the fingers a little bit. Yeah, and now keep your hand in there. Let's use the other hand to hold onto the ankle and move the toe hinge back and forth, back and forth. It's creating a little mobility in the ball of the foot, which is useful in life and in yoga class. And now keep the ankle still and just create some kind of circular action just with the upper part of the foot, but not with the ankle. Yeah. Great, and then we'll set the ankle free and see how that's different. Both are good. Go the other way. Yeah. And then pause here and spread out wide through your fingers, which will spread out the toes, and pop the hand out. And now let's start now at the big toe. You'll give a little wiggle and a little pull just to create some length through the toes. Yep. And then you're going to take kind of this action with the thumbs, starting up at the ball of the foot, and you'll start to go down towards the heel. And you keep doing that. Some message popped up here. Ignore. Yeah. And then do this. Make a fist. And kind of like a snowplow from the heel to the toes. You'll drag the knuckles. Yeah. Awesome. And then you make the other hand also into a fist, and a gentle fist, and you'll give the put a little pound on the sides too. Great. And then a little yoga magic here. Let's put 2 feet, just stretch them out in front and have a look and see if there's a visual difference.
Yes.
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, that'll go away in a second, but it's kind of remarkable. Let's do the other side. So, up we come, get a little dust off. Yes, I do. Otherwise, you'll have a really open foot and then a really shriveled up foot. So let's do our toe circles. You'll hold the 4 toes and then the pinky gets to do a little circle. And good luck, it's not going to go that much. Yeah, go the other way. All right, and then we go to the 4th toe. Few circles. Another way. So the big toe has 2 bones in it, and the other toes have 3, even the pinky. Yeah. And then let's go to the 3rd toe. Have you ever done this before?
Oh,
No, probably not. Yeah.
not put them in circles, not fold them.
Yeah. You want to be gentle. You're not trying to, crack them or anything. And 2nd toe. Yeah. Folks who lose ability to move their hands or amputation or stuff, that they can use their feet to do a lot of the same stuff.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then they can write letters and open things. Yeah. Yeah. And then in other cultures too, where they don't wear shoes, their feet are a lot more dexterous. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's be done with that. Spread out the toes and put the opposite hand, fingers in the toes. Do palm to sole. This foot's tighter.
My right foot's tighter.
Is it? Yeah. For me, this is my right foot, and it's way tighter than the other one was. Yeah. And then once you're going to use your hand to squeeze and release. And it's probably the same side that has a tighter hamstring. Do you know?
It is.
Or we'll check it later. But yeah, it's the same
My
line,
left side is
same
always
connected
tighter.
line here. Yeah. And then you'll use the hand to squeeze and release the toes. Good. Yeah. And then let's hold the ankle still and move the ball of the foot back and forth, back and forth. And unfortunately, the cuter our shoes. Usually the worse they are for us. Yeah, I know, you guys here.
No.
No.
Really bad.
Yes. And then we'll make some circles. Yeah, I only wear running shoes nowadays. And even with those, I'm super picky about it. Like, only this brand.
Started wearing Nikes.
Do you like them?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's free the ankle. Another direction. Yeah. I'm lucky though. A lot of pregnant women, their feet get bigger. Mine are still the same. Yeah. Okay, pause and then spread out the fingers. Pull the hand out, and then each toe gets a little, just think of length. Think of length. Don't be too aggressive. Yeah. And then our thumbs, let's do this little pattern here. We'll do that a few times from the upper part down to the heel. And then we'll make our fist snowplow from the heel to the ball of the foot. Do that one a few times. Oh, that's good. Yeah. This one's way better. Someone else will do it for you, but we can do it on our own. And then let's make the other hand into a fist. And tap, tap, tap. Great. And then you'll see in a second when we stretch it out. Now the first foot is not as fluffy, but overall I think we're in good shape. Yeah. So let's stay here, and then with both feet together, start to draw really big, slow circles. And let me show you the difference. So here I'm just kind of not doing it. And here I'm getting all the way around, like your foot's inside of a jar and you're trying to get all sides of the jar. Yeah, and go the other direction. And if your feet start to get a little fatigued, that means you're probably doing it correctly. All right, and then let's pause here and draw back through the toes, press out through the heels, spread the toes wide, and then you'll press forward just the balls of the feet, but not the toes. And I'm going to call this Barbie doll feet. We'll do this position later. And then point through the toes. Yep. Now let's pull back just through the toes, spread them wide, and then through the rest of the foot. And we'll do that a few times. So the balls of the feet, the toes, pull back through the toes, and then the rest of the foot. Just a few more of those. Yeah. Articulating through the bones and the joints of the feet here. 33 joints in the feet, each one. 26 bones.
We do a lot of work.
We do a lot of stuff, yeah. All right, and then let that one go. And let's turn over, we'll come to all fours position. I'm just gonna rearrange some of this stuff here. Have blocks handy. And if you need a blanket under the knees, you can have that. Just move this out of the way. Yeah. And then from here, let's take your right leg and just reach back with the toes tucked under and give yourself a slow motion push-pull kind of back and forth. Yeah. That's it. And then do the other side. Great. And now let's go back to side one and have the hands a little further forward than you normally would go. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you lift a little through the abdomen? And now think about the left foot, the knee that's bent. Press the top of the foot down into the floor. We'll breathe in. And as you exhale, hover the left knee just a little bit. Yes, good. Let's work. And then down it comes. And we'll do the other side. So the right knee is bent, left leg is back. Broaden the collarbones, lift the belly, breathe in, and then you'll come up on the exhale, just on the top of the right foot, little hover. Yeah, good job, guys. And then down comes the knee, down comes the other knee. Let's go back to child's pose. Stay here, and in your hands, go onto your fingertips for a second. Spider fingers, just give them out a little kind of a scrunch action. Yeah. All right. And from here, we'll come back to our hands and knees position. Tuck your toes under on both feet, and then start to bring the hips back towards the heels. And some of you will just stay here. Some of you will walk the hands further back, and some of you will come to sit on the heels. Yeah, like toe torture. We haven't done this in a while. Yeah, now if you want to make it more interesting, scooch the knees back a little bit. And see if you can sit either upright or maybe even lean back a little bit. How you doing? He said, this is not good. It doesn't, yeah, it probably doesn't if you've never done it before. Who knows though, the next one might be worse. We'll see. Yeah. All right, let's come out. Let's come out. Undo the feet. Give a little shakey shake. Now the next one, for some folks, it's a no-go for the knees. And if that's the case, then we'll give bus stops. You can get off at any stop. So let's go back to child's pose the regular way with the toes pointing back. Now maybe that's it for you. Maybe you come sit up like so in kind of a virasana. Maybe you bring the hands back. And maybe you lift the knees and shins off the floor.
You're funny.
Oh no, that's not going to happen.
No.
All right.
Feels like
Is this better than the other one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Interesting. It's, it is what it is. Let's come out. Let's come out. Gently. Just move the feet around a little bit after that one. Just whatever you want. Now we'll go back to the first version again. However, this one should be easier. So let's grab your blocks. We'll set up the blocks on the lowest height. And now you'll plop the knees on the blocks and have the toes tucked under there. Yeah. Is that better than the other one? A little bit. Sarah, what do you think? Yeah. Now, for some of us, when we were in the other one, the pinky toe doesn't go under. But when we're up a little bit, you might have better luck and you can use your fingers to kind of help. Yeah. Nice. Now, think about this. For a lot of us, the ankles do funny things here. Can you reach straight back through the center of the heel in this position? And that's okay if it doesn't. Yeah, just come out. We'll be done in a sec. Yeah. And that's fine. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit more like.
Yeah, don't do it if it hurts your knee.
It doesn't hurt, but there's like a weird stress.
Don't do it. Yeah. Let's come out. Let's come out. Undo the feet. Last little shakety shake. And we did this one twice. Let's do the other one twice. Yeah. Okay, so back we come. Your version. Maybe you're here, maybe you're here, maybe you're here. Yeah. I love Jennifer. She's like, oh, I'm loving this one. Good job. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. And so
I'm
for
trying
some,
to imagine what muscles I need to fire in order to do that. I'm like,
for some people the limitation is in the quads, so it could be that. Let's come out. Yeah, we're done with those for now. And then just again, just move the feet around a little bit. Ankles. Yeah, you could do a little tappity if you like. Yeah. All right, guys, let's stretch out through the backs of the legs. So head into your down dog. Oh, and it might feel different than it normally does after doing that foot stuff. You might bend and straighten the knees here. You can shift the hips back and forth. You can take a little wiggle, just whatever you want. Yeah. And then when you're ready to exit down dog, let's come into a standing forward fold, any transition you want. Press down into the heels. Let's use the inhale to come all the way up, arms overhead. Yeah, and then the arms come down. Okay, so from here, let's all mirror you. Go on to the right, just kind of the tip of the toe, and take some circles around with the right foot and ankle. You can be kind of lazy about it. I don't say that too often. Go the other direction. And then let's do the left side, same thing. Little circles. Oops. Oh, it's okay. I'll cut off the edge, so no problem. All right, and then I'll face the side for this one. Let's go to your right foot. You'll step the foot back a little and you're on the toenails, on the top of the foot. And there's a tendency for the ankle to want to roll out to the side. Allow that to happen for now. Bend both knees here, let the pelvis shift back, and you choose how much or little weight to put on the right side, and then we'll come upright. So do that a few times. It might be a little balance issue. You need to separate your feet right to left here to make a wider stance. Now the next time you come up, can you hug the right ankle in, more towards the midline, and then that'll get a slightly different part of your foot. Yeah. Every time you bend the knee, think of shifting the hips back rather than shifting the knees forward. Good. Okay, that was side one. Let's do side two. So getting into the top of the foot. At first, let the ankle go a little to the side. We bend, we shift back, and up. Yeah. And this is something we don't do very often, to stretch the top of the feet. So today's our day. Yeah. And then hug in, hug the ankle in. A couple more. And most of us have a preference, either stretching one side of the foot or the other. Yeah. All right, release that. Just move both feet around a little bit. Okay. Now the next one will be a bit of balance. Let's have the feet about hips width distance apart. Hands wherever you want, on the hips, prayer, out on the side, doesn't matter. Bend the knees a little bit. Shift your weight forward so the heels lift, and try to hug the ankles in so you're more towards the inner part of the foot. And then we'll go all the way straight, nice long, and down from the heels. So we'll do that a few times. We bend, we shift forward, lift the heels, ankles in, we come all the way up, and then down. You guys are hilarious. We bend, and we shift, we come up, and then we come down. Yeah? Now we're going to reverse the order. I wish the camera was on the whole class. This is so funny. Let's go opposite directions. So we come up, we'll add in the arms. Lift the heels, ankles in. Bend the knees, hands come to prayer. Shift the hips back. Heels come down. And then we go straight. And do that a couple more. So we come up, bend the knees, hips shift back, ankles in. Straight. Last time. All right. And then that's that. Yeah? So now,
it's hilarious on carpet.
It's on the carpet. It's in. I'm sure. All right. So now we'll do. You bend both knees, and it's kind of like a little prance here. You'll do one side, other side. Yeah, and you kind of create a little resistance as you're doing that. And this one should be less balance challenge than you do. Yeah, but also a little bit of work for the calves. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right, and then let's settle down. Back to center. Cool. So we'll move a little bit here. Let's be at the front of the mat. You might already be there. Move this a little bit. And I'll recommend blocks under your hands. You'll see why in a second. So we'll take sort of a version of what we just did. Let's go up onto the balls of the feet, lift the arms overhead. And then you'll bend the knees. Let the heels not come all the way to the mat, but a little lower. So they're just hovering. And then from here, we'll keep the knees bent, lower the hands to the blocks. And then start to go, lift the hips higher. The heels are just a little bit off the floor. Now, when we set the heels down, there's a tendency to really shift the pelvis back. See if you can keep the hips where they are in space as the heels come back down. Good. And then go up onto your fingertips on the blocks. See if you can move the chest forward without shifting the pelvis back. Yeah. And then relax, come down. Do that one more time. This time, don't worry about the pelvis, whatever it wants to do, just let it happen. Yeah. And then we'll come down, we'll go to plank pose. I'll recommend ditching the blocks here. Walk the legs back. Now, if you need to put the knees down, that's fine. But if you're okay with straight legs, even just for a second, stay there. Can you broaden the collarbones, lift the belly, and then give a little kind of push-pull on the feet? Yes. And then when it feels like the soles of the feet are straight up and down, pause there and just hold the position. Yeah. Great. So let's lower all the way to the belly. You can put knees down first if you like. I'm going to stay here. And then fold your hands here, make a little pillow. Just relax for a second. Take your legs one at a time, just kind of scooch back and down. And then you lift both legs together off the floor. Just lift from the inner thigh. First, press back through the toes. And notice how that feels. And then let's make the Barbie doll foot. So you press through the ball of the foot. Yeah, keep that. And then let it relax, come down. And then you'll go again. So reach both legs back, lift from the inner thighs, point first through the toes. And then you'll flex at the ball of the foot, so the Barbie doll foot. Yeah, keep that. And then with your arms, slide the hands a little forward and the elbows in slightly. And then see if you can draw the chest forward and up. So it's kind of a little bit of a back bend. Yeah, so you're still pressing back through the balls of the feet. Great. Try to drag the mat back with your arms without actually moving the arms. Good. And then come down. Just rest. You can bend the knees, give the feet a little swish from side to side. Yeah. All right. And then let's put the legs back down. We'll head into our downward facing dog pose. Take your time to get there. Yeah. All right. And have a look at your feet. Let's bend the knees. Try to press the mat down and forward with your hands. And at the tops of the thighs, press a little apart. And see how that makes the ankles bow out? Can you hug a little in through the ankles? And then we lengthen the legs. Think of reaching from the backs of the knees to the backs of the heels, down towards the floor. Good. And then when you're ready to come out of the pose, let's meet in a standing forward fold any way you want to get there. Yep. Root down to rise up, all the way up and come. And arms release down. Yeah. Let's stand here. My feet feel so good after that. Yeah, we're going to take some hula hoops. And let there be a little bend in the knees, and let there be some movement in the ankles. You'll feel weight shifting on the feet. And then go the other direction. Yeah. Mostly I just wanted to see you guys do that. You're doing it now.
It won't work.
You can't do
I
it
tried
like
yesterday at a pool party.
Oh no. Have you ever tried the giant hula hoops? Those are a lot, like you go slower, it's nice. Anyway, let's come to the front of the mat. I'll suggest blocks. We'll do a little bit of a lunge sequence, and we'll be bringing a knee down. If anybody needs padding when you get there, just have it available. All right. So we'll take a little transition here, similar to what we did before. Slight bend in the knees. Shift forward, lifting the heels. Let's come all the way up, arms lift overhead, legs go long. Keep the arms up, bend the knees a little bit, lower the heels a little bit, not all the way to the floor. And then let's come into our forward fold, hands on blocks. Let the hips start to lift, but don't lower the heels all the way. And as you do lower the heels, try not to let the pelvis shift back in space. Yes. Take your half lift from here, chest moves forward. And then lower yourself down. Let's step the right leg back into lunge. We'll keep the back knee off the floor. And have the arms just in line with the front foot. Blocks or no blocks, up to you. On the back leg, give yourself again that sort of push-pull that we did in plank pose. And then when it feels like the sole of the foot is straight up and down, just try to guess. Pause there. Don't move the arms, but try to drag the blocks back. Move the chest forward. All right, and then you can stay, or you could lighten up your hands, or you could stretch the arms back, or stretch the arms forward. Just take a second for you. Gorgeous. And then hands come down. Let's put the back knee down, and you can keep the toes tucked under or stretch them back. That's your choice. On the inhale, let's shift forward, lift the chest. And on the exhale, we'll shift back, going straighter in the front leg. So take that forward and back a few times. Whatever pace, whatever depth you like is fine. Yes. And then guess what we're going to do? We'll with the front foot in a second. So let's shift back. And I'll suggest taking the arms back a little bit and see if you can move the chest forward a little bit here. Yeah. Now, in your foot, feel what happens when you bring the sole of the foot to or towards the floor. Yeah. And then feel what happens when you do the opposite. Pull back through the toes. Do that a few times nice and slow, and just notice how what happens in the foot affects the rest of the leg, doesn't it? Good. Let's pause the next time the toes draw back and see if you can draw back a little more through the pinky toe. And like you're driving here, step on the gas with the left ball of the big toe. Oh, yeah. Can you move the chest forward again? Yeah. Great. And then relax the foot. Bring the sole of the foot either to or towards the floor, and then bend at the ankle so the toes bow in, a little towards the midline. Oh, yeah. All right. Now, some of you will stay put. Some of you will take the arms a little forward. Some of you will take the arms a little to the left. All the way outside of the leg or just a bit, it's fine. Ah, yeah. Now, however you've ended up, see if you can move the pelvis and the rib cage away from each other. Ooh. Wow. Are you breathing? Just asking. Yeah. Okay, friends, let's back out, come to center, rebend the front knee, and then just watch me first. You can decide if this is a good decision or a bad decision. On the back leg, I'm going to keep my toenails on the floor. Definitely use blocks for this, and then I'll come up like this, yeah? If that's not a good decision, do it with the toes tucked under. All right. So when we're ready, up we come. Just for a second. Oh, yeah. And then down we go. Tuck the toes under, re-lift. And then let's go back to down dog. Yeah. You can add in whatever you like movement-wise. Or nothing, if that's better for you. Great. Now, let's use that kind of propulsion of the feet to come forward into plank pose. And then from here, come all the way down to the belly. That's it. And then from the belly, let's just do a cobra here. So you'll try to drag the arms back as you lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor and come just any amount lift. And lower yourself back down. And do that 2 more times. Good. Think of length over height. And then our last one here. When you're ready, we'll press back into downward facing dog. Just take your time to get there. Yep. And then we'll make our way to the front of the mat. Any way you want to get there is fine. All the way up we come. And then the arms come down. Okay, nice work. Can we do the second side? Yeah, we better. All right, so we're going to get into it the same way. Start with the feet about hips width here at the front of the mat. Little bend in the knees, shift back, kind of like Utkatasana, and then we'll shift forward to lift the heels. Yeah? Let's go all the way long in the legs, all the way long in the arms. And then we'll rebend the knees, keep the arms lifted. Let the heels lower, but not all the way. And then forward and down we come, hands to the blocks. See if you can lift the hips up. And then as you lower the heels, try not to drift back. Ah, yeah. Go onto your fingertips. Move the chest forward, but try not to drift the back and the pelvis. Yes, good. Come down. Do that one more time, and this time, just whatever happens, let it happen. Great. And then down we come, left leg comes back. Keep the knee off the floor. That's it. Give yourself a little push-pull back and forth. Just mobilizing through the ball of the foot again. That's it. And just think about it. When it feels like the sole of the foot is straight up and down, pause. Try to pull the arms back as you move the chest forward. And then you choose. Fingertips, arms back, arms forward, or none of the above. Yes, good. Lightly set the arms back down. Set the back knee down. Do what you want with the back toes. And then let's take a few times. Inhale forward, lift the chest. Exhale, shift back, go straighter in the leg. So take that at your pace, your depth. And then you might scooch the right foot a little forward. Yeah, I think that gives you a little more space. Good. All right, friends, let's pause the next time the front leg is your version of straight, and I'll recommend walking the blocks back a little bit. See if you can move the chest forward, take some of the rounding out of the back, and then we'll move the sole of the foot to or towards the floor and pull it back up, yeah? So take that a few times and just notice what's going on, how the leg, you feel different things in the leg depending on where the foot is, huh? Yeah, let's pause next time the toes pull back. Spread them out. Draw back a little more through the pinky toe and then press forward the ball of the big toe just a bit. Keep that and let the pelvis shift a teensy bit right. Oh, yes. I know that's not where it wants to go. And then we'll relax for a second. Bring the sole of the foot to or towards the floor. Bend at the ankle so the toes bow in a little bit. Move the chest forward, move the arms a little forward maybe. Some of you will stay, some of you will walk a little to the right. Some of you will go all the way outside of the right leg. It's up to you. Yeah. Now, whatever position you've ended up in, can you move the pelvis and the rib cage away from each other? And still breathe while you do that. Yeah. Interesting. Scott, I never noticed how tight you were right in that spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a spot. All right. And then from here, friends, we'll back off, come back to center, rebend the front knee. And now this is the one where we go up on the back leg. You choose if it's a yay or a nay. Let's try it out. Press and lift. Yeah. Okay, enough is enough. Retuck the toes, relift. And then let's go just to down dog this time. Great. Notice any difference here in the feet and the legs? Let's bend the knees a little bit. Look back at your feet. Press the mat forward with your hands. Widen the upper thighs and see how that bows the ankles out. Hug them in a little bit. And then re-lengthen the legs. Backs of the knees to the backs of the heels reach downward. Okay, everybody. When you're ready to come out, either bring the hands to the feet or the feet to the hands. Standing forward fold. Use the inhale to rise. And the exhale to bring the arms down. Okay, let's go get your blanket and we'll roll it up and we'll do some stretching of the calves. So I'll suggest opening it out one time and then rolling it. It seems to stay put a little better that way. Our feet are important.
Very important.
And we don't spend a lot of time thinking about them unless there's a problem.
But they hurt.
Yeah. And then I'll face you guys. Now, if anybody wants to roll your mat over the blanket, you can. That makes it a little thicker and a little less, there's more grip if you need to. And then let's take the blocks forward. And we'll start, I'll mirror you guys. So the right foot will go up, the toes, the ball of the foot are on the roll, and the heel is on the floor. That's it. And then the left foot, for some of you, will step forward. Some of you will say, no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. Here, go. Well, that works too.
Okay. I'm always.
It's okay. And stay in your position and take a little side to side shift. I'm still thinking about that. The knees bend like up and down thing. That was so funny, you guys. We'll have to do it again. No. And then pause here. And this next instruction is only for those of you who have the left foot in front of the right, which is everyone in here, but at home, don't do it if your feet are side by side. Let the right hip move forward and the left hip move back, so you're kind of in a rotation. Yeah. Press down through the right heel. Good. And then de-rotate, come back to center. Let's take the arms out and up. For some of us, when we do that, the pelvis shifts forward. Can you let the pelvis shift back a tiny bit? And imagine the back of the pelvis widening. Yeah. And then from here, let's take the arms down. You'll bend both knees, which is kind of awkward on the right side. And then some of you will take one hand to each block. Some of you will make a little block tower if you need to go a little higher. Yeah. And let's keep your knees a little bit bent. Widen through the upper thighs. Hug in through the ankles, press down the ball of the big toe. And then let the hips lift as the legs start to go straight. Yeah. Now, you can stay still. You can add in a small side to side. And if anybody wants to add in somewhat of a rotation, that's an option too. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes more is more. And then let's pause, and we'll bend the knees a little bit. Bring the hands to the pelvis and hinge your way up. And we'll come off, and go to the other side. Let's have the blocks handy. So this will be left foot up, heel down on the floor. Right leg can step forward if you can balance well in the position. Yeah? All right. And then from here, let's just take just a side to side. And we'll pause. And again, this is only for those of you who have the right foot in front of the left. We can take a rotation, turning the upper body this direction. That's to the right. Yeah. Good. You can look in the mirror. Okay. And then we'll undo. Come back to the center. Take the arms out and up. Notice if the pelvis shifted forward, let it shift back slightly. That's it. And then we'll bend both knees. Start to come forward to come down. Either one hand on each block, or you can make a little tower if you need a little more height. And before we straighten the legs, can you widen the upper thighs? Hug in through the ankles, press down the ball of the big toe, and then let the hips lift to go straighter in the legs. Yeah. Once you're in position, if you want to add in a little side to side, that's an option. At any point, if you need to readjust your blocks, do what you need to do. Okay, this is my tighter side, I gotta say. All right, and then let's pause. Bend the knees a little, hands to the pelvis, ease your way up. And release. Yeah, just take a little walk for a second. Oh, how does your walk feel? Everybody really kind of nice?
Relaxed and nice.
Yeah.
Nothing hurts.
Yeah, we're gonna do one more calf thing. And it might be more hamstrings, it just kind of depends. I'm gonna face the side, but you'll stay put. And then let's have the blocks, start with them high. And then let's actually begin with the forward fold, hands on blocks, and then step the feet up. So one foot, other foot, heels down, toes, ball of the feet on the roll. Yeah, now even if you can go lower, don't quite yet. If you need to go higher, make your little tower. Bend the knees a bit. Yeah, if you feel really, really tight, just you could stack the blocks as high as you need. Yeah, knees are a little bent. Widen the upper thighs. Hug in the ankle, press down the ball of the big toe. And then let the hips lift. And then, if it's appropriate to lower the blocks, do. If that's not a great decision, keep them where they are. That's it. And then maybe a little side to side, slowly and small. And then we'll pause right in the middle. Little bend in the knees. Let's take the hands to the hips, come up to stand, try to stay balanced up there. Whoa! All right, and then release that. Yeah, let's take a little hula hoop here just to work it out. And then go the other direction. Okay, nice. So we took all that time to roll the thing up. Let's use it for Warrior One. You can set it up at the back of your mat. We won't need blocks yet, but we will later, so just have them at the front. And then let's step back here with the right heel elevated on the roll, and the right leg with a very slight external rotation, like about 1 o'clock. Hands on the pelvis, take the left leg forward, awkward step, yep. And then once you've done that, straighten both legs out, and on the back leg, press the heel down onto the roll, and think of reaching the inner heel back on the right side. Yes, lift up through the low abdomen, and then bend the front knee. Now, if anybody's feeling pinchy at all in the low back, you can hinge a little forward. If the low back is fine, stay upright. And then let's take the arms forward and up And let this lifting of the arms help lift the rib cage up off of the pelvis. Bend the elbows a little, turn the elbow tips forward, the thumb tips back, and then stretch the arms to straight again. Yeah, great. Okay, to come out, hinge forward, stretch the arms back, lift the back heel, and to step to the front of the mat. Inhale, we're up. Exhale, arms down. Yay, side two. Come on back. So the left heel comes up there, and then we rotate out a little bit, not much. Hands on the top of the pelvis, right leg comes forward. I know. And then stretch both legs to straight. On the right leg, press the heel down and press the inner heel back. Good. Keep that. Let's bend the front knee. Oh, now this is my tighter side. It's always the second side. And then take the arms forward and up. Little bend in the elbows, elbow tips forward, thumb tips back, re-lengthen. Lift the rib cage away from the pelvis. Nice job. Virabhadrasana, we'll call it 1.5. And then hinge forward, arms come back, turn the back heel up, step forward, inhale to rise. Exhale, arms down. Awesome. Let's move the roll out of the way. We'll do the same pose again without it. Start at the front of the mat though. Hands here. Right leg comes back, heel to the floor. Just like we did. Press down the heel and try to reach the inner heel back. Let's start with the arms lifted. Lift the ribs off the pelvis and then bend the front knee. Do feel free if you need it to hinge a little forward. Yeah. And then for everybody, let's hinge a little forward. Land the hands on something. I'll suggest blocks. If you need to go higher, make a little block tower. Yep. Now from here, see if you can, don't move the blocks, but try to pull them back as the chest moves forward. And then don't move the left foot, but try to press the heel forward as you drive the hip crease back. The front leg will go straighter. Yeah. All right. Now once you're here in this position, we'll wag our tail, just a slow shift side to side to side to side. That's it. And then when it feels like your pelvis is right in the middle, pause there. Draw back through the pelvis, forward through the rib cage. Inhale. On the exhale, if it's appropriate, you can lower down more. If that's not appropriate, just kind of back off a little bit. Let's take a few more breaths. And on the inhale, you'll create some length through the spine. And on the exhale, some of you will go a little lower, some of you won't. That's up to you. Yes. Variation on Parsvottanasana. Now if you came down, let's come back up into the straight arm, flat back position. Turn the back heel up, bend the front knee, and step the back foot forward. Root down to rise up. And we'll release the arms. Great. Same thing side two. Hands on the pelvis, left leg back, heel down to the floor. That's it. We'll start upright. On the back leg, press the heel down and try to reach the inner heel back. Let's take the arms up. Bend through the front knee. If anybody needs to hinge a little forward, do. Yep, see if you can move the rib cage away from the pelvis. And then let's everybody hinge forward. And down, landing your hands. Now, try to drag the arms back, move the chest forward. Press the front heel down and try to push it forward as you drive back through the right hip crease, going straighter in the leg. Once you're in position, one more time, lengthen the spine. And then let's take our slow motion little tail wag here, right, left, shift. That's it. And then when it feels like you're in the middle, stay. Let's inhale, create the length again. And on the exhale, if it's appropriate, you can fold down more. If not, just back off a little. And then do that a few times. Every inhale is some length. And every exhale might be some depth, maybe not, and that's up to you. Yes. Good. Now those of you who came down, Let's come back into the straight arm, flat back position. Bend the front knee, spin the back heel up. Step the back leg to the front. Do down to rise up. And down come the arms. Yay. Let's move around a little bit. Now, I'm curious, did you notice a tighter leg, tighter hamstring?
It's not right.
And that was the same side as the tighter
Yeah.
foot. Interesting. How about the rest of you? Do you remember?
Left.
Yeah, sometimes it's already gone, but let's come down. We'll do another calf stretch variation. So I'll show this one. If in the studio we've got the soft blocks, which should be great. At home, if you've got the wooden blocks, sometimes that's too hard. You could use a blanket if you need. You'll come down like so. We'll do the right leg first, goes over the block, and then the left leg can cross over, or it doesn't have to, yeah? The crossover puts a little more weight on it, which may or may not be desirable, yeah? Also, sometimes the hands get tired. If you'd like to lay down completely or go on the elbows, that's an option too. We'll start to just rock from side to side. Yeah. And now, depending on where you are in the block, if you're more on the flat part, that's a little more mild. If you're more on the corner, it's a little more intense, just depending, it's up to you. And more intense isn't necessarily better. Yeah, let's pause and mobilize the foot, the right one, or whatever's on the bottom. It's okay, as long as you do them both. I almost always do right first, just so I can remember which one we've done already. Yeah, great. And then let's pause. We'll do 3 spots total. So for the second spot, go kind of right into the widest, thickest part of the calf. And then again, oh, this is so nice. Because I just, or not. Yeah, it's so interesting. Like one spot for most of us is more intense than the others. Yeah, so we're on the same side still, whichever foot you started on. And then move the ankle. Oh. This would be a good practice to do in the morning, so then you have all day to walk around.
Enjoy that feeling.
Maybe you'll take a walk this evening, I don't know. All right, last little spot here. It's not right behind the knee, it's still a little lower than that. Yeah. Find a spot and start to move the ankle. Yeah. Interesting, you guys. Some of you've got really tight ankles. Let's pause. We'll come off of the block. And before we swap sides, sometimes it feels good to move the hands a little bit. So you can do that. Yeah. All right. Leg number 2. So up it comes. And let's start low, kind of at the closer to the foot there. Side to side we go. It can be awkward, yeah. Sometimes fooling with these props. And then we'll pause and move the ankle around a little bit. Good. And then let's move now to the widest, thickest part. I've heard too, a lot of times in pregnancy there's calf cramps and Charlie horses. I'm lucky I haven't had that. Yeah. It's kind of a spasm. It's very unpleasant. I did have it once, but I think I was dehydrated. I was in New Mexico, so I moved the foot around a little bit. And the air is much drier there than here. Okay, last spot. It's not right behind the knee, a little lower than that. Yeah. And I know some of this stuff today was a little weird if you've never done it before. A little weird. Let's pause, move the ankle around a bit.
I've never felt hand movement too.
You've never done the foot handshake. There's a teacher that she'll have you interlace the toes with each other. I don't usually do that, but no, well, you use your fingers to do it, but maybe someday we'll do that. All right, release. And let's take one more time. We did these at the beginning. Just legs forward, and take the ankle circles and make it make it like a real circle, not a puny, sad little circle. Yeah. And then the other direction. Good. Okay. And then relax. You can give the legs a little jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Okay, so we're gonna head into Shavasana here. Let me show a possibility you might like. 2 blocks side by side, the blanket on top, and then the legs on top is like a little homemade bolster. Yeah, I'm gonna turn out the overhead lights, so and if you don't like that, it's fine. You can be any way that's comfortable.
Oh, Caroline, you have to teach him the foot shake.
The foot shake?
Yeah, where we kind of ba ba ba, but with our feet going.
Oh, thanks. We'll do that at the very, very end.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And as you settle here into your Shavasana, final resting pose, let's bring your awareness down into your feet and see if you can consciously relax the feet. They've done a lot for us today. Let's see if you can relax through the soles, bottom of the foot, the toes, the spaces in between the toes, the tops of the feet, front of the ankles, and inside the ankles. Just let that whole part of your body relax. And let that idea start to just travel up the legs, letting the entire, both legs relax. And bring your attention again to the soles of the feet. Just imagine that they could breathe. And as the inhale comes from the soles of the feet up the legs, breathe in into the body. And as you exhale, let the breath move down and out through the legs, out through the soles of the feet. Just take a few breaths with that in mind. Yeah. Let's create a little movement into the feet. Maybe the toes wiggle, maybe the ankles circle. And if you are on the little homemade bolster, let's come off of that. You can just push it out of the way, and we'll do one last thing laying down on your back. And this is a quick, you'll kind of push the backs of the heels into the floor, and then it's a quick point and flex of both feet. So the whole body gets a little bit of a jiggle up and down on the floor. Yeah. Great. And it starts in the feet, but really it's a full body experience. And then let the feet settle, let the feet relax, and just notice any effects of that in the rest of the body. And whenever you're ready, you can bend the knees. Very gently rolling yourself over to one side and take your time to come up and meet sitting. Hands at heart center. Thank your body here for everything that it's able to do. Thank yourself for being here. Namaste.
Namaste.